Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another edition of Talk That Tech. The
Number one tech morning show in the world. Good morning,
We're back in the building, baby.
for
Just
sure.
wanted to say, yeah, for sure. Just want to say thank you so much for rocking with us again on this episode, and definitely going to be a good time. We have a couple of things that we wanted to talk about today, but before we do that, you know the rules or the drill, I should say. You see the ticker at the bottom, like, comment, subscribe. If you find anything great, anything of value that you definitely want do you appreciate, and go ahead. I'll let you know we also have that link at the top corner for you. So if you want to go ahead and use a QR code, you see that QR code at the top left. You could go ahead and click on that. That'll allow you to jump into the show. You don't have to show your face or anything like that, but you can definitely talk and share your thoughts and comments about anything. And stay tuned because we want to give you something of value later on in regards to probably later in the middle of the show or so. So definitely stay tuned so you could definitely take advantage of that. But man, let's get into it. Let's get into it. So this is something that came across my timeline, and it's a story that we kind of touched on before in a different way, but really wanted to kind of unveil something that's been going on for a couple of years actually. But it's something that, like we said before, can have impact not just on a certain group of people that are in Hollywood, but also others in the space. And so, with that, man, I'm going to pass it over to Trey to share more.
Yes, indeed. So, yeah, just like you said, we touched on something similar in the past. I've even talked about a certain episode of a certain show as well multiple times because it's a good episode. But we'll get into that. Y'all, Hollywood is turning actors into IP, intellectual property. So, Hollywood, they're not just filming actors anymore. If you're not aware, they're also digitizing the actors. In other words, digitizing humans. So, Creative Artists Agency, better known as CAA, which is one of Hollywood's biggest talent agencies, they just built something that's called the CAA Vault. Now, think of it like a digital bank vault, okay, except instead of money, right? They're not storing money, they are storing people. So, CAA, they built a dedicated scanning studio and it contains three specialized capture systems. Okay. So, together, they create this incredibly or like very detailed digital version of the actors. So, that includes the body, their face, their voice, their facial expressions, their movement, and their mannerisms. And now one scanner alone uses 204 cameras. That's a lot of cameras. But one scanner alone uses 204 cameras to capture every angle of the human body. Now, another scanner maps every single facial muscle, and then a third captures the voice, speech pattern, emotion, and performance. So the result isn't just a 3D avatar. It's really like I said earlier, a digital asset. Now, um, the reason that they built it for years now, studios they've been asking, what if we only need the actor for one day, right? Well, AI can already you can de-age actors. They do that all the time, right? You think of what was that movie with Will Smith, Gemini Man or Gemini, where they had a younger version of him trying to take him out. They can change facial expressions, dub voices, translate performances, generate entirely new scenes. Hollywood, they realized, like, okay, look, the face itself has become valuable IP. So for decades now, actors they license their performance. So now they're licensing their identity. So that's a completely different business, a completely different part of the business. So instead of selling time, they're actually they'll increasingly sell digital rights. So yeah, I mean that's like, you can borrow my likeness for a day, Yeah, it's going to cost you $10,000. I don't even have to be in the building. They have all the assets that they need sent over to them, right? I mean, that's pretty cool. Everybody gets their cut. Agent gets, what is it, 5 or 10%, whatever it is. Maybe the house gets a little bit, and you get your 7 or 8,000 just boom wired to you, and that's just on like probably low end. So, anyways, it could be crazy. Now, I real quick, I did take the liberty to just scan through some of the comments on the video that Joseph found, and I saw some celebs in there. Okay, and they were chiming in. And Tyson Beckford, I don't know if y'all know who he is, famous Polo Ralph Lauren model, famous model. If you don't know, he was like the black man in Ralph Lauren and Ralph Lauren ads forever. But anyway, he said the company that owns this came to me 3 years ago. What's not said is the percentage that they will take. I'm not sure about the rest of you, but I don't want my image to be owned by somebody else. So there are celebrities that are like, you know what? I don't want to do that. I want to keep my own. I'd rather show up and do my thing and leave with the full check and my full identity. Just wanted to throw that in there because, there's that side, but then there's also the side of the actors who are maybe like others who said, hey, this could be a brand new royalty economy, and I might want to take part in that. So, you scan yourself once, that digital clone, it can appear in movies, TV shows, video games, commercials, theme parks, virtual reality, AI assistants. So instead of collecting one paycheck, they can collect all of them, right? They can collect, whatever's happening in the licensing side, that licensing revenue from that clone, it can get, you can bring in some money on. So the humans end up becoming intellectual property. Hollywood is, first in the space right now on that side, but every profession could eventually face the same question. Imagine a salesperson's voice, right? Somebody who's like the top of the game at sales, and they just license out their voice. A teacher's lessons, a lawyer's advice, CEO's presentation, a doctor's bedside manners. Every profession has something AI can kind of capture, and eventually everyone may ask, who owns my digital self? So I don't know, y'all. There is risk in that as well. Obviously, CAA, they protect elite talent, so most workers don't have an agency negotiating on their behalf. If your employer scans your voice, your image, your training, your communication style, who owns that data? Today, employment contracts rarely answer that question, and the law is obviously still catching up with AI. So I don't know. It will be interesting though. A lot of people right now, they're worried about AI stealing their job. So ownership could be a bigger issue later on down the road. But people who own their digital identity own future income. I told y'all my voice is on 11 Labs right now. I haven't checked the Munyon in a while. I probably should go look at that. Because people were using my voice for whatever. I don't know. I know it wasn't anything that had to do with that things that I didn't want it to be used on, but I mean they're using it. So there have been ways to do it. Hollywood has taken it a little bit further. They're going with full body. Now I don't know if y'all remember, there's a show called Black Mirror, and I think the episode is called Joan is evil or Joan is angry, something like that. Mm-hmm. Anyways, Selma Hayek in that movie, it was portrayed as she was not there and she only leased out or loaned out her digital likeness for a TV show. And then she actually had to show up because they had her doing some egregious stuff because the real Joan was doing some egregious stuff. So you have to see that movie or that episode because it was a good episode, and it kind of showed you what that could be like in doing real time episodes based on events. So I don't know, y'all. What do y'all think about this? Is it good? Is it bad? You know, what does this mean if you're a teacher, a creator, a coach, a sales professional, public speaker, influencer, right? Man, hey, we know you cost 75,000 to come speak at this event, you know, as a public speaker, but can we use your digital likeness that does a specific talk for this space for 15? 15, you didn't have to get on a flight, you didn't have to get in the hotel, you didn't have to leave. I don't know. Somebody's probably gonna do it, y'all. Will it be you? Let me know. We want to know.
Yeah, we definitely want to know. I'm going to go to the comment section for a second, but I definitely want to share this question with the audience. If your company could scan your voice and likeness for work AI tools in general, would you let them? And who should own that digital version of you? So I definitely want to go in the comment section real quickly because we have a few comments already. We got Tech Coach Ralph in the building.
What
Good
up, though?
morning, Tech Coach Ralph. Good to see you. We got Avacutes dash S3E.
I
Hi,
think
good
it's
morning.
Ava.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ava.
Good to see you, Ava. Ava Cutes, thank you so much. And uh, Tech Coach Ralph said a lot faster and cheaper for studios too to have this. I think
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. If we want to really dive into what he just said, if you really think about it, if they have your likeness, what happens traditionally? You know, an actor could do only so many movies in a day or in a year, I should say. Now
Mm-hmm.
with their likeness, they'll be able to probably make so much more movies. And the way I started thinking about it was in regards specifically to actors because they have a list of different. It's again select few clients that are part of this. I'm assuming a lot of these deals, because the way they probably written it, scripted in the contract, is probably in perpetuity. You know what I'm saying? So it's probably a situation where their kids or their others can benefit from this way long after they're gone. But again, it really depends on what those contracts look like. Like we said
Well,
before, there was a model who basically had to look at that contract and said, "Oh, they don't talk about the percentages, right? What does that percentage look like? Is it 80-20? Is it 70-30? It doesn't sound like it might be 50-50. So the question is, what is it? And the argument could be like, for example, CAA could say, "Hey, listen, we're taking all the time." Like I kind of flash an image. In fact, I want to shout out Atlantis Berry, who kind of brought up this. He's a content creator. We came across my timeline, and I was like, "Oh, this is actually something we probably could talk about." He kind of shared a little bit here. I'm going to share real quickly about behind the scenes, and what he's talking about here is from the Wall Street Journal, where they basically had somebody come on, and he worked for CAA, so he actually has an insider's point of view. But they basically had this one of their journalists come on to CAA, and all the cameras that you see there, there's a lot of work that goes into it. They do everything from the camera work to making sure that certain images work for Gen AI, and then they also are making sure that certain images work for their voice. They could capture different tonalities and inflections in the voice, so that way, based off of the few different words that they share, they're able to basically have their voice do or say anything. So they're doing a lot of investment up front. Now they're actually going ahead of the curve in the sense of some things have not been, and I'm going to go back to just the show notes here, but some things have not yet caught up, like the No Fakes Act proposed, like those different type of laws and regulations. They're now catching up to stuff. So they're trying to. So would those earlier contracts actually really truly protect the artist from a court, like you said, like with Level Labs, making sure that there's nothing egregious that they are a part of? Time will tell. Time will tell.
well,
Because if the money is there, you definitely want it to. You want it to not do anything egregious. But who knows? Maybe being a part of a certain campaign or a certain this or certain that, they probably would have been like, if I was physically there, I probably wouldn't do that thing. So we definitely have to see what time will tell, because but for the most part, the people that got in early, they may have a different set of rules and contracts laid out for the people that are getting in now than then. And another thing I thought that was interesting also is and yeah, I'm gonna go to your comments too, Tech Coach Ralph, 'cause that's a good point. Another thing that I thought was very interesting too is that it's not just going to include, the typical Hollywood stars, content creators as well, people that have established. So we talked about Kavivi, that huge deal that he had. Um, what was it, almost 2 years ago? That's going to become more common as well. And so, really kind of thinking about the how many people it can affect, how many people can be a part of it, I thought was very interesting. Something that we definitely keep our eyes on, because at that point you're like, hey, am I doing this for me, or am I doing it for my generations after me that could benefit from this? Kind of like with music, like, because as an asset that lives on and on, the Marcus Garvey family, they're still benefiting from the music that Marcus Garvey made. Not Marcus Garvey, but
I was about to say.
Marvin Gaye. Excuse me, Marvin Gaye made the Marvin Gaye family. That's a different different M there. But the Marvin Gaye family is still benefiting from the music that he made years ago. So that's something that definitely I wanted to shout out there. And hey, Ramona, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you for stopping by.
Yeah,
Wanted
and
to
I
shout you
saw,
out there.
bro, I was watching an interview from Terry Crews, like, I don't know, a year ago, and he
Mm-hmm.
mentioned this. He didn't mention the company,
Yeah.
right? But he mentioned he had already been scanned his himself, like, I guess few years prior, which
Yeah.
lines up with Tyson Beckford saying they approached him like 3 years ago. But either way, that was one of the main points that he said. He was like, he was talking about how his kids and family, would still be able to, get some money on even after
Mm-hmm.
his death. And so I think there are different things that you probably could set up contracts for on something like this if you were going to do it. Like, Tech Coach Ralph, he mentioned, like, I wouldn't go, or I wouldn't pay to go listen to a DNA-less trade, right? Well,
Mm.
maybe there's things like Tom Cruise where, he does all his stunts, where there are a lot of other actors who don't do any of their stunts. There's
True.
a stunt man. Well, maybe instead of the stunt man, hey, don't pay the stunt man, pay me, and just use my
Mm.
digital likeness to do all the stunts you want. But maybe
Mm.
that's it. So they only are licensed to do stunts of their likeness,
Yeah.
or a little, very difficult situations. Maybe a woman is like, look, I don't want to be any, or maybe they're okay with being in the explicit scenes, but now maybe they're like, look, I'm not in any of them. You can use my likeness if that helps. If it doesn't, then you don't get me because I don't do it. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, maybe they don't mind that. Obviously, they don't in Hollywood like that. Not most of them. So that's a possibility. So it's probably a lot of different ways that you could, skin that cat. But you
Yeah.
just have to see what they choose.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to the comment section because a
But
couple
I
things.
hear him on that.
Yeah, Tech Coach Rouse said a couple things too. He said I'd be good with it in a movie,
Same.
but I'm not live events. If I'm live, you got to be live too, because it
100%.
will feel kind of weird. It could be like, is this really your thoughts, or is this something that they're making you think, making you say, right?
Right.
Um, so and they also said, would you all like new music from someone who passed a long time ago?
That's a good
It,
question.
that's been happening all the time, really,
Exactly.
with a
But
lot of artists.
I think majority the census is like they don't like it. People don't like it. Right? Like
Mm,
when they release these new I don't think so. From what I've heard in the past, like it just didn't seem like people rocked with the new music that would be released.
yeah.
But then you have those certain situations like the Beatles winning a Grammy on a song that they, half did with AI. Like it was, he
Yeah.
had created, or one of the guys that I don't remember, he did like half the song and then they finished the song with AI and it won a Grammy like 2 years ago.
Mm, yeah. I remember that.
So there, there's that. So it's like, I could say that, but maybe that's just in the black community.
Mm,
Like, I don't want to hear any, maybe that's that. And then there's other communities like, no, finish that song and we're gonna
hmm
run it up for you. Thank you. Oh my God.
hmm Yeah, I think I kind of lean to what Techo Drought says is I don't think I personally would want to listen to that. I just know that we are getting desensitized as a culture to AI and what it could do artistically. There's I'm not gonna lie, even sometimes like if it's not an artist, if it's just like a regular like AI artist and the music is good, sometimes I'll just like put on a long playlist while I'm doing work. I don't know the song, I don't know whatever, but I just know it sounds good. I think that's a little bit different. But the point I'm trying to make is that after a period of time, like with anything, we get more and more sensitized to it, more and more like, oh, this is the norm. That they could, with the right marketing, with the right everything that push behind it, I can see a lot more people being like, okay, I'm open to it more and more and more over a period of time. I think we're still early in the stage where people are, even though we we did have, I won't say the artists, but we did have other artists in the past, whether it's in hip hop or even in R&B, that they basically have used stuff, and they probably even using it now without telling us. I'm pretty sure there's stuff out there they'll be like, yeah, that's my song, check it out, and then the back of but everybody knows in the industry, oh, he's dishing out all these hits based off of his likeness versus him actually doing something. So
Yeah,
I think we'll be desensitized to it over a period of time.
man, I can't think of his name, but yeah, I mean, there's a few who, especially he was in R&B. I can't think of his name right now, but he's won a lot of awards, writing with and for others. But he has
Mm,
some stuff on his own. But yeah, he's been a proponent of AI for a while now, so I know he is. But he was,
yeah,
I can't think of his name. So, but yeah,
yeah. Yeah, good point. And then Techo Ralph actually said, "I don't listen to them. It's the stuff that they had in the backlog but never released is the one thing. But brand new music with that person's voice is not my cup of tea. Can you just make my own AI music?" That's true. That's
yeah.
true. That's true. Techo Ralph said, "Is it? Are you talking about Timberland?"
No, it's not Timbaland. He's an R&B. Yeah, I'll try and find it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who that might be. But yeah, no, I think that it's very interesting, y'all. They're very interesting, y'all, because I definitely wanted to see, like, let's say if your job, you got your boss came up to you and said, "Hey, you've been doing fantastic work. We want to really kind of use you for a project, right?" And say, "Hey, we'll just get your likenesses, whatever the case may be, um, and we're all squared away." Now, in that situation, when it's your job, it might be interesting because they may have you sign something that says it all belongs to us, even after you're not here anymore. So, what would you actually sign up for something like that, or would you be like, "Nah, I'm good. I
I
can't,
would,
I can't rock with that."
but I need, it's all about having your contract right. But if it's like just voice and you just need like, somebody for all the lessons or company updates and training videos, yeah, yeah, I'm gonna have you probably. Hey, you can use it for minimum 10 years, and I need all the a percentage from everybody that goes through those trainings. Like we're gonna do it right. But yeah, on something like that, I would do it.
Yeah, I wonder about that too because it does happen. It does happen, right? Like for example, my company recently did a commercial, right? I don't think they paid. They used the staff members to do it. I'm
Hmm.
not too sure if they paid them extra to do that, or if they're
Of
like,
course
"Hey,
not.
you guys are here. Let's just do these couple of lines. Act like you're doing whatever." Should you get a lawyer involved in situations like that to say, "Hey, listen, this is a commercial that's generating money for the business. I want to see what my rights are here." Or it's like they look at you like, "Hey, listen, you're already an employee of theirs. You just gotta suck it up," or just say, "Hey, I'm not comfortable with this."
Well,
Uh,
it's unfortunate because you signed into it when you signed your contract to start working with them.
mm,
There's always a release for video and photos that you sign. It's in the contract. Like
yeah,
or at least for the ones that I've always signed, I've always seen that part, and I've always been okay with it. But like anytime you have like those company outings and stuff, and somebody's there taking photos, they've been got that release when you
mm,
started. So that's on. Yeah, again, that's about contractual stuff that, if you're thinking ahead or later on when this thing does become like, oh no, you're making money. Like
Yeah,
you've used me in an ad and that ad has brought in $600,000 in a week. Like, maybe then it would be a thing. But for now, yeah, you signed that contract when you first started the role.
yeah, yeah. Tech Coach Ralph says we don't have to worry about AI taking our jobs. It's trying to take our life. If I leave, my clone goes too, and we know he has a clone or two.
Right, right, right.
So he says if I leave, my clone goes too. Yeah, I think that's such a tough thing, especially I'm thinking specifically about actors. Like they have the projects that they make, right? If it's things that are in circulation, if it's like against a sync license and things of that nature, great, they can use it. I remember back in the day, the biggest thing that, like for example, sitcoms and TV shows wanted to do was they wanted to get enough episodes that, and the word is on my tongue, but I'm kind of drawing a blank on what it's called. Um, when they it's like when they get to a certain amount of episodes, then they have a certain amount that they'll pay. Anyway, you know
Syndication.
what? Yeah, say it one time. Say it one more time.
Syndication.
Syndication, right?
Like
So
syndicated.
yeah, so to them that was like, man, that if we could get to a certain amount of episodes to get syndicated,
100.
then we are good. We are in business, and we could eat from it, and I believe their family could eat from it too, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not too sure how that works. But now this is more of a guaranteed way to make sure, and that's what I'm thinking about. Is like this is almost like a life insurance policy for them. Kind of like when we talked about how, and I don't know if we talked about it in detail, but when musicians recently were selling their catalogs for a large chunk of money up front because these companies, whether private equity or others, said, you know what, your numbers that you're going to do down the line are going to be we calculate to be X, Y, and Z. You can either wait for that and then, and we hold your music for, or we can hold your music for like 15, 20 years, and we give you this lump sum money up front. And a lot of people were like, that, give me the lump sum up front. I'm good because who knows where they'll be in 15 or something years. Will they be able to enjoy the fruits of their labor? Or because right now the checks are coming in incrementally. Like I gotta wait half of the year for the other check versus having that all up front, and if they're smart, they could do investments, they could do all sorts of things with that money because they had that lump sum versus just waiting for checks around the way. I'm thinking about this kind of being some sort of insurance policy, and I think for the artists, even content creators, this I could see this being a viable option. And
Yeah.
maybe I'm the outlier a little bit, but I think that I think that I'll be interested in something like this. The only thing is the laws, right? Would there be an opportunity for my family when I'm long and gone to amend things or to fight back on things? I'm assuming that's a yes because of the contract. Um, but that's something that you need to plan with your estate planning and all this different stuff to make sure that your family have the right to basically fight for your behalf when you're gone, like Marvin Gaye's family has done multiple times because people uh, keep stealing his music, according to them. So yeah.
They on top of it, that's for sure. And I did find the R&B artist that was big on creating the music as far as using AI to help with maybe I don't know if he was using it for like lyrics, but more so like to be able to put out faster music. But his name was Eric Bellinger. I had to go the long
Oh
route.
yeah.
I don't know why my mind was blanking, but I had to go the long route. I went um Devon Franklin's ex-wife, got that. Then Megan Good's sister's husband. Like, but anyway, I found it. It was Eric Bellinger. But yeah, he's been a proponent of it for a long while now, and he released music all the time, and he's respected in the industry enough to like it's not just like they were kind of wishing him away. So I don't know. It's there are artists, there are actors who are doing this stuff. The question is, only time will tell. Only time
Mm,
will tell if, oh man, like that one basketball player who, while he was playing, he was able to get, a few franchises, and then a few turned to a whole lot. And now, he's
yeah,
made more money than a whole lot of players in the NBA, like
I
a
think
whole lot.
he recently passed away though. Didn't he pass away? I think right.
It's
He might have,
possible. It's
but
possible,
yeah,
but it's,
I mean, I think hundreds of
that
franchises,
that ended up
like over
being
100.
a great thing for him. It could be the same way here, right? And then again, it could not. So, only time will tell. You just gotta either be willing to or be willing not to. Either way,
Yeah.
you win. Either
Mm,
way.
yeah. I want to go to this question from Tech Coach Ralph. He says, "You want to get paid up front and then come back for more?" Uh, and then, and by the way, Trey, while I answer that, he wants to know which player we're talking about. That's
Oh,
a
I
really
got
good
you.
story. Yeah, he's like, if I mention his name, you'd be like, "Who that?" He's one of those players that just
Mm-hmm.
took advantage of the work he did. I think Tech Coach Rob, you would love him. But to answer this question, I think what I was trying to say earlier is give that example of how musicians have that back catalog. Private equity or some company comes in and says, "Hey, we'll give you the money up front because we know that in 15 years you're probably going to make X, Y, and Z amount of money. So if you want that lump sum up front, here it is. But just hold your money or just hold your music for that period of time." And then in some way, shape, or form, they'll try to push it and so on and so forth. But it's just guaranteed money that they have. I'm saying that with that same mindset, I could see why actors, I could see why people that are a part of this CAAVault program would be interested in having some kind of insurance policy for later on, because things do change, and then you do get some money from the syndication and stuff right now, but that vault will help you later on for your family, for your children's children. And if the way you kind of set it up in these deals, maybe you could say, since it's in perpetuity, that everybody that follows in my family, they have a right to make amendments and adjustments and so on and so forth and benefit from it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's good. And the Tickle Drop said, Joseph basically said, I want my year's salary up front before I start working. If you can get it, get it. Oh, yeah, listen, man.
Yeah.
There's been probably worse deals out there than than what I just said.
No, that's
But
a
yeah,
fact.
yeah. But did you find that player's name yet?
Yeah, I did. I did. So just for a quick, brief story here. Yeah. So this player, when he retired, he started with 5 locations in the Milwaukee area of Wendy's franchises. So he had 5 when he retired. He grew that portfolio to over 450 Wendy's and Chili's restaurants, and then he rolled that over. He sold it for 250 million. Rolled that over into a Coca-Cola bottling business that generated over $1 billion annually, and it gave him, before he passed away, he had a net worth of over $1.4 billion. He was one of the wealthiest former athletes in the world, and you probably didn't know his name. His name was Junior Bridgman. Okay, he died in 2025 at
Yeah, let's see.
71.
Yeah, so yeah, he recently died a couple years ago. Actually, last year. Sorry, last year.
That's what I was about to say,
But
2025.
yeah, he definitely was someone that uh, earned a lot of respect because of the fact that he was just so smart and savvy with his money. And if you, it's a little image of him if you have never seen him before. But Ulysses Lee Jr. Bridgman, the guy had a long name. But yeah, he definitely was somebody worth admiring. And he was cooking in there too. I remember seeing him with an apron in the Wendy's. It's like, can I take your order? And he just like he was a man that actually experienced working in the franchise as
Well,
well.
they all were back then, bro. Like
Yeah,
these
yeah,
guys would play. They would play during the season, then go and be, AC repairmen and
yeah.
all kind of stuff, because I mean, they
I
were
know.
basically making less than the WNBA players a few years ago before your girl came in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's one of those things where he just found a way to be like, oh, somebody probably told him about franchises, and then he ran it up.
Yeah. Tech Coach Ralph, he is definitely your type of guy. I'll just say that. Like he's hard, no excuses, hardworking. As you can see, this is him in the franchise right now, just like working with. I think that's the Wendy's franchise right there. That's him in his office. So definitely somebody that that's worth studying. And I think he has a book out. I know he's a. I think there's a documentary or something on YouTube about him specifically. That's him working. That's him working with the apron there, rolling up his sleeves, getting it done. Um, Take Coach
Yes,
Ralph said Caitlin Clark when Clayton Clark in the business came
yes,
in.
I was alluding to. I know people hate it, but at the end of the day, before she came into the league, most of them were getting chicken feed, and it doesn't make it fair, but it is what it is. Like you gotta take it where it for what it is. Hey, she came in the league. They start being on private jets and everything.
Yeah.
You just gotta take it up. Now they hate it. They hate her. But if she
Mm,
go to another league, I don't. Is that money gonna stay? I don't know. I'm just being honest.
mm. That is very interesting. That is very interesting.
And by the way, I'm not saying she's the best player in the league either. Probably has never
Mm,
been the case. But
yeah, yeah. You got me on. You got me on this. Thinking about this man for a second. They're actually.
there you go.
Yeah. They Tech Coach Ralph said for those who don't see, they hate her, but love, but the love but they love what she brings to the table. They hate her, but they love what she brings to the table. I absolutely agree. I think it's just a jealousy thing. If you know from the other players, obviously, I don't think the league is mad about her probably that much.
Well,
But
the league is not mad.
the league is
You
like,
got
yeah, thank you.
stadiums that they go to, or whatever, or, wherever they plan. Seats are being filled. Numbers are up when she's
Hmm.
playing. Numbers are up in general, right? So it helped get eyeballs onto the game. Um, I still will say it till the day I die. Like if more women did support, they would be doing numbers. But unfortunately, they'll talk about it, but they're not gonna watch it.
Mm, mm. They'll talk
They
about it,
sh-
but they're not gonna
it
watch it.
should be a lot more women on the front rows and sitting court side if they want to be mad about the pay and all of this stuff. Get out there,
Mm,
but they're not
mm,
gonna
mm,
watch it.
mm. Very interesting. Very interesting, y'all. So yes, y'all, thank you so much. In regards to the comments and the conversation, we definitely appreciate it. Wanted to say thank you so much for rocking with us on this episode. Like we said before, you can feel free if you want to. You can call into the show, or you can use this QR code on the top left to basically kind of call in and let us know your thoughts. You don't have to share your voice. Excuse me, you don't have to share your face, but you can share your voice and share about your thoughts about something. It's probably easier than typing anyway. So, well, with that being said, I wanted just to kind of hit on this next thing that we got going on here, which is the Tech Wire, y'all. If you're not familiar, the Tech Wire is brought to you by Secure the Badge, where there's all sorts of events that are coming up right now that you could definitely take advantage of. And first and foremost, there's especially in the month of August, there's going to be a lot of things that you can look at and go if you're looking for different events to attend. The month of July does have a couple of things in the Black Tech Week, Chicago Tech Week. There's a few things going on there, and they're going to update some more stuff soon. But in August, they have GTIA ChannelCon AI4 is happening in Las Vegas from August 4th to the 6th. There's also Render that's happening in ATL. There's Invest, if you're interested in Invest Fest, that's happening in Atlanta, Georgia later this year. They also have DEF CON, Black Tech, Podcast Summit, Baddies in Tech, which normally is in New York City here. All those are happening in August. And sometimes I'm looking at the price tag for these events. Some of them start at as much as $1,695 just for this one thing, right? So you might say to yourself, "Well, that's cool. There actually is one in my neighborhood, but I might not like the price." there is actually a group that not only allows you to be able to put your name down to get these at pretty much no cost or the cost of admission, I would say, but there's also the opportunity to become a speaker at these events as well if you have the background and if you would love to share your thoughts there. So let me put this down in the comment section where you can benefit from this. If you want to join the community and be able to get these tech event tickets, uh, go ahead and click that link that I just dropped down below. That link will allow you to go ahead and check out the community for yourself. There is a cost. I'm not going to lie to you, be upfront. There is a cost to be part of that community, but we have benefited from it and seen others benefit from it where they literally, the amount of the tickets that you get, it more than covers the price of admission, plus of the other opportunities that are in that particular group to become a speaker, to go to different events. You never know what you could get until you get a part of that group. They also have meetups that they do virtually as well, so you can do some networking within the group as well. So go check it out. Let us know your thoughts. And with that being said, we're gonna go back to the show. I appreciate you guys as well. Now, this is actually something that Trey and I were talking about the other day, probably a day ago or yesterday or 2 days ago, was in regards to some video that I saw on Instagram, and I was like, I sent it to Trey at first, and I was like, I deleted it, but I didn't know. I don't think it deleted on his end, so my bad. But because the video itself was AI, but it was talking about how flying cars are here, right? And then Trey was like, actually, you know what? Even though that one's AI, China's cooking up a lot of stuff right now, and so wanted to try to talk about it because in some places, I don't even think they're allowed. They have these cars here, and for good reason. They're like, listen, y'all. We don't want the competition in the airspace. No pun intended. And so basically, the cars have been catching up. And I want to kind of talk about real quickly, especially if you're a car person. But the technology is the part that I want to really focus on. So basically, there's a company called, and I probably butchered the name, but Xiaomi, I think how you pronounce it. It's XAIOMI. Basically, they launched
Xiaomi.
Xiaomi. Awesome, thank you, man. They launched its first car in like early 2024, and this car was very, very interesting, right? It was almost like it's all about electric cars, by the way. They were talking about it, and the way these cars are, they're pretty advanced. In fact, let me see if I can pull up the model that I'm talking about right now, so you guys can see it. So basically, they have the SU7 sedan, and I'm gonna pull it up here so you guys can see it, so you guys have an idea how it looks. Boom, here we go. So honestly, at first glance, I'm like, when I first saw it, I was like, okay, cool. It looks like any other car. It's electric. Let me see if I can pull on IG because you actually see it better there. But yeah, so with this particular cars, these electric cars, they're outperforming in regards to like they're cheaper than the Tesla models, and they are. Is this the one? Yeah, give me a second, y'all. I'm trying to get the video up so y'all could actually see it. But I'll use this one. So yeah, this one's cool. This one's cool. All right, so this is how the car looks. It's basically, as you can see right there, it's like it's like comparing it to the Porsche, right? At the bottom, you can see the ZMR. The way it looks nice, right? It looks like a sports car in some ways, and the price point for it is actually a lot better than other cars here. They basically that car specifically outsold in the United States. Did pretty well, right? In regards to what it's been doing in China. They basically have about 500,000 total cars that are produced in just like 602 days. So their factory is pushing these cars out pretty quickly.
Sure.
And so the production has been crazy for these electric vehicles with a lap record of, it's crazy, like a lap record of 704,957. So they're pretty quick as well, being Rivermark and also the Porsche. The Porsche was on the top compared in that video there. And so it's just pretty cool to see what they're unveiling over there in regards to all the stuff that they have there in regards to the supercar. But what really kind of again brought this kind of conversation on was just saying like, hey, the technology is there. It's kind of going pretty wild right now, and we don't really know about it because we don't really get access to see these cars and how they function, how they're doing their thing. So, and I saw here, oh, that's something else. Oh, that's 11 Labs. I
What is
saw
that?
that's in the comment section about 11 Labs. Sorry, I got distracted. Um, but yeah, so 2 years ago, Chinese electric vehicles were cheap cars for China, right? And today they're breaking Nürburgring records and entering Europe. So they're moving from, hey, being these cheap cars to now being efficient and being quality cars that other industries are taking notice of. And so this is what I wanted to kind of talk about. We don't know about it because the U.S. blocked Chinese electric vehicles from import through tariffs, which but Chinese technology is entering Western brands anyway. So we're taking the technology, but we're stopping the cars from coming in. And so, and Volkswagen co-developed a new model with Xipeng in 24 months and half a normal Volkswagen development timeline. So basically, the Chinese technologies is helping these companies basically move forward and faster. So Stellantis joint venture with Leap Motor already outsold Tesla in Europe in January 2026, and now Xipeng is building flying cars. This is flying cars while the U.S. is still debating how to regulate them. So that's crazy that they're building it. So we might be in a world where these cars are going to be, I won't say the standard, but they're definitely going to be out there among us, kind of similar to the Megatron vehicles from Tesla that we see on the street all the time. They look like Transformers to me at least, or a box. I would say. The question isn't whether China. The question isn't whether China is winning the electric vehicle race. It's whether the U.S. can pivot fast enough to compete in the next race. Now, I'm not gonna lie. When the gas prices started going up recently over here in the U.S., I was looking at I have a neighbor who has a Tesla model. I'm like, he must be like, he must be grinning, drinking a pina colada in his backyard right now because all he has to do is literally plug his car at his home, drive, make local, and I think he does more local drives, but he saw all I gotta do is plug it in and drive and go. And so to find out that there are cars cheaper than even the Tesla that are available and have a lot of these different specs that we're not really used to, I think that eventually we're going to probably see that change very soon, where it's going to be either the technology is going to come over, like we talked about, or they're going to find a way around the tariffs, and sooner or later we'll have these vehicles available to us. But a question I want to ask you is, if this type of vehicle is sold in the U.S. at half the price of a Tesla with better specs, would you buy it? You could be honest and say, "Nah, I'm good. I'd rather stay with my gas guzzler," or I would say, "Hey, Tesla is the way to go. Let me just stay with them." But would you buy it? Wanted to hear your thoughts on
Hey,
that. And
I was for a while. I was trying to find them. I'm like, yo, how do I? Because
I'm trying to share
you're
if you can.
asking if it was half the price and had more specs, and I'm telling you, they do. There are some there that have exactly what you said, and they're $30,000 USD. And
Mm,
so you're looking and you're like, huh, how do you get one of these? And then you realize, like, well, one, the maps, for the ones right now that are like specked out and crazy doing numbers, the maps don't update if it's over here. You got to
mm,
pay 100% tariff, right? So that's like literally double for the car. So $40,000 car is like 80 to get it over here, and then you also have like the, it's going to be in Chinese, like it's going to be
yeah,
speaking to you, but it's speaking in Chinese. So it's one of those things like, you're probably not going to get it over here till you can. The closest you'll get is the few manufacturers that do partner, with the Chinese factories, like what was it, Buick and Volvo, the Polestar as well. Yeah, Polestar. So I mean, they're in the space. It's just like those specific companies. What's interesting about Xiaomi is, you know, that's a phone company. In my mind, it was a phone company, and now they've
Yeah,
just like taken over cars. That was, or not taken over, but you know, they just like jumped in and went full speed in cars, and I mean, it's interesting to see for sure.
yeah. I wanted to go to Tekos Ralph's comment because I have to find out from somebody that owns an electric vehicle, and I'm going to show a little video here real quickly. But Tech Coach Ralph said electricity bill can go up significantly with electric cars,
This is
although
true.
most likely still cheaper than gas.
Yeah.
Maybe I could ask my neighbor what his bills looks like. Um, and I'm gonna go to this. I'm gonna go to this. Oh yeah, he said talking about I guess it being like a phone company.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it is, bro. It's them.
yeah.
And they doing numbers.
And he said, and he also said they don't have to pay tariffs if they build it here. If they get a
Yeah.
manufacturing company here that can build it, then they will be in the money. And then he
Facts.
said, I worry about China controlling the car. Well, funny enough that you said that because I pulled up a video real quickly that I wanted to share with y'all because I was like, wonder how it looks and how it moves, right? And basically, this car is if it's basically backing up, and then the person says that the self parking SU7 kept moving after the driver walked away, which I don't know how that compares to the Tesla, but the guy's not in the car right now. He actually left the car, he walked away, and it parked by itself, which is pretty sick in my opinion. Um, Even though I would still want to be around to see that. You know what I mean? Like
Hilarious.
he's like, "All right,
I'd be
do what you need
gone.
to do. I'll see you later."
Me too. I'd say the same thing.
Way he ran out that car door, I was kind of like, man, is it gonna blow up? He kind of was like, it's kind of weird with how he moved out, but like, yeah. So, the technology is definitely very interesting.
And their batteries are crazy too. Like, um, you know, they last a crazy amount of time. One of the videos that I saw, they had batteries inside of like a glass case and showed like what it was doing, and it'd be like,
Mm,
oh, this was a taxi battery for like 8 years, 500 some thousand miles or whatever, and it's still, and it shows the battery life that it still has. But I can't remember the name of those batteries or whatever. But yeah, it's funny though.
yeah. Second round said probably had to use the bathroom.
Oh,
So
that's
he's
funny.
like,
That's
I
hilarious.
gotta go. I gotta go. You park
Hey, get
yourself.
it done. Get it
Yeah.
done.
I think my wife would like
Stomach on bubble guts. Okay.
that. I mean, he had to do that before because the way he ran off, he didn't even think about it. He's like, that car can take care of it, take care of itself. Like, but that's dope, and I know that a lot of people appreciate a car that can park for themselves. But yeah, y'all. So would you get that for yourself? I mean, I'm especially with the gas prices. They're getting a little better, but it's
And
definitely one of those things to think about.
that's the thing, Joseph. I saw one. I don't know if you saw it. They got the van mode where it looks
Oh,
like, you know, it's crazy. But when you in park, you can spin the chairs around to face each other, and got a table in the middle.
mhm.
So you know, they get they got numbers, man. They got numbers. It's interesting to see.
Yeah, man. Let me see if I can pull it up too, man. It's
It's
like
crazy.
yeah, the technology is I think of the Van Grekken, I think that's how I pronounce it, or the Van Brussel. I gotta look it up, but I think there's definitely probably a few of them out there. But well, listen, y'all. I want to say just thank you so much for rocking with us again on this episode. And if you have anything you liked about the show, let us know in the comment section. Thank you for those that did comment as well. We'll shout you out towards the end. But one round. There we go. I am all over the place today. But I definitely wanted to round out this episode with our Brown Box special for y'all. If you are not familiar, Brown Box special is any story that about somebody that either passed away, fired, let go because of their job. Hopefully, they don't pass away because of their job. But if any sort of situation where they're fired, let go, or they quit their job, it's a story that we want to share. And, because we've been through it before, humanize the experience, and also sometimes get kicks and giggles out of it as well. But this person said 8 years of experience, 5 on-sites, 0 offers. The tech job market is a different world now. And this is a story that's credit to Reddit, but this is a senior software developer engineer who says, my background, I've been in this game for 8 years, a software developer and developer engineer at a small or mid-sized company, interviewed at 10 plus companies so far, made it to on-site at 5 and struck out on all of them. The market now feels really brutal. This is my third time job hunting, he says, and the first time right after graduating pre-COVID on-site at 3 companies, failed 2, got 1 offer. Second time during the money printing era, same stats, but LinkedIn recruiters were coming at me nonstop. Amazon alone will reach out to me 2 to 3 times a week. That's completely gone now. He said this time I made it to 5 on-site at 5 different companies, 0 offers. My interview pipeline, less than 10% cold applications, 40% referrals, 50% LinkedIn email. I get 5 recruiter messages a day with premium, but most don't sponsor. Maybe 1 to 2 sponsoring companies reach out per week. The quality of email has clearly dropped, and full-time software development engineer positions have noticeably dried up. Right? Of the coding questions he's gotten, about 80% have gone fine. Right? Mostly medium level. Trey's voice clone is legit. I gotta check it out. Yeah, he just dropped the link, so I'm gonna check it out later. But yeah, in regards to the story, it's a sad reality though. It's a sad reality with the story is that the big difference from before, back then, Google and Meta had multiple openings. You interview first, then get matched with a hiring manager afterward. Now, very few companies have multiple openings. Backfill roles almost always already have a quote unquote better candidate lined up, which we know sometimes they have to put those roles on their website, but they have somebody internally that can take that position. It's an uphill battle on top of an uphill battle. So I wanted to just kind of share this story because I think that a lot of people either have been in this situation or currently dealing with it. And I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on it. What's up? Appreciate you. We got Brooke McCainley 4073. Thank you so much for rocking with us. Definitely appreciate it. But I wanted to just share this story with y'all because I was like, wait, man, I don't know if y'all can relate. If you're in the job market right now, if you're trying to find a job, let us know in the comment section below. We definitely want to hear from you. But what has your experience been like recently? Has it been this crazy? Has it been like, oh man, I don't know what's going on here? Like, what has your experience been like as of recent? So just let us know in the comment section, or we could talk about it next week for sure. But yeah, it's been kind of wild for sure. It's been kind of wild with a lot of different people. 8 years of experience, he said. If you missed it, being a software development engineer, and this third time right now, the market has been nuts. So if you are going through that though right now, thoughts and prayers with you. And definitely want to say, man, thoughts and prayers, and all the best as we traverse this particular time. So yeah, man, we're about to wrap up the show though, and before we do, I want to give out a shout out to everybody that commented. We got Tech Coach Ralph that commented first. Good morning. Definitely appreciate you. Ava Q, appreciate you as well for coming back again with our show and rocking with us. Ramona, thank you so much, Ramona Hussein. Thank you so much for coming, as well as Brooke McClainley. Hope I said that right, 4073. Definitely appreciate y'all for rocking with us on this episode of Talk That Tech. All right, let me see if I can bring on Trey back on. Yeah, let me see. Here we go.
Yeah, man, I've been in the back. I don't know what happened, but I'm like, well, okay, if that's what I have to do, let's get it back on real quick. But yeah, man, appreciate y'all. But yeah, I don't know what happened. I'm on the phone, so we can finish it out here. I saw Ralph said the voice clone is legit, bro.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is I gotta actually update. It's been 2 years
Wow.
of running that, and so I can't let other people have a better sounding voice than mine. That was like 2 years ago. So I need to update the voice at some point. What's crazy is I told you I hadn't been in there. I hadn't been in there at all this year, and hey, there was like $370 over there just sitting for this year.
Oh, cool.
I was like, hey, let me get that. So I gotta go ahead and cash that out. But um, yeah, if y'all haven't done it, you should probably look into it. I don't know, your voice might be better than mine. You could do numbers, and I'm sure once I update the voice, it'll go up as well. So anyway, appreciate you, Tech Coach Rob.
He's like, do put 3 or 4 fingers in front of your face. He's like, I don't believe you. I think this is a clone right now speaking. I said, that's his voice clone. I don't believe it.
Wouldn't that be crazy? You can do the camera shakes and everything, man.
Yeah.
Handheld camera motion, and then next thing you know,
Looking authentic.
for
All
real.
right, y'all. Well, thank you so much again for rocking with us on this episode of Talk That Tech, the
#1 tech morning show in the world. We'll see y'all next week, baby.
yes, peace and elbow grease.